ब्रह्मानंदम परम सुगदम केवलम ज्ञानमूर्तिम द्वंद्वातीतम गगन सदर्शम तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम एकम नित्यम विमलमचलम सर्वदी साक्षिभूतम भावातीतम त्रिगुणरहितम सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ब्रह्मानंदम, the supreme happiness of Brahman, Paramasugadam, Kevalam Jnanamurtim, the only Kevalam, only thing is that it is knowledge, real knowledge, wisdom. Dvandvatidam, it has no opposites. All our lives have opposites. There is night, there is day. There is darkness, there is light. There is sorrow, there is happiness. This is our life, duality. Dvandvatidam, there is no duality. There are no opposites. In its original state of no division whatsoever. Gagana sadarsham, like the open sky. Tattvamasyaadilaksham, it has only one aim, is to figure out, is having figured out, that is not different from this. Purnamada, Purnamidam, we discussed. You see, what we try to do normally is to solve each problem little as it comes. This is the final solution. These little problems can never be solved. If one goes, the other will come. I might solve one problem, then the other one will come. But here, there is no problem to be solved because there is nothing to solve. And it's also described as ekam. There is only one. Alone. Kaivalya. Now, alone actually is all one. In the Yoga Shastras, the word used instead of moksha is Kaivalya. Kaivalya comes from the root word Kevalam, only. Kevalam Jnanamut, Kevalam, only. There is no two, there is just one. Ekam, Nityam, the only thing that remains when everything else is gone. Vimalam, no mala, no impurity whatsoever, no agitation whatsoever, no waves, a silent pond without ripples. When the pond is silent without ripples, you can see your real face out there. And then you figure out that you're not different from the pond. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, witness to everything, but not involved in it. Bhavatitam, beyond all emotional disturbances, including good, bad emotions, all gone. Triguna Rahitam, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas don't exist. We discussed Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, right? So there is from Tamas to Sattva, from Tamas to Rajas, from Rajas to Sattva, which means when the mind is completely free and relaxed and totally pure as in Sattva, then that mind itself ceases to exist. What remains is only the essence, and that is Triguna Rahitam, it has no gunas. Then I said, I bow down to that Supreme Guru. Who is this? So who is the Supreme Guru? That Supreme Being, which is beyond everything, which fortunately for us is also our true essence. So we are going to ourselves. That Supreme Guru is also in the Yoga Shastras referred to as Ishvara. So, when the Yoga Shastra says Ishvara Pranidhanena, it means to that Supreme Being who is free of everything, to Him I bow down. Or to it I bow down. Because in that state it cannot be him or her, it can only be it. So this, in a nutshell, is the teaching of the Mandukya Upanishad. Now what is that to us? To us it means that when our minds can, all the sadhana that we do is to awaken this awareness ultimately. Not to get stuck on the way and think that this is real. There is a path, of course, there is a way. Way is to make the mind subtler and subtler and subtler. Raise it to higher levels of awareness until you come to the ultimate awareness, which cannot be described in words and which is, happily, it's also part of us. We are that. And that is the source of all the energy in this universe. And when we get a little bit of that energy, we become, I have this. It comes from there. It comes from there. So, in the Kena Upanishad, after a very deep philosophical discussion, in the end there is a beautiful story. The description starts just like the Mandukya with, who is it that is the real conscious being? Keno means who. And then finally, now this is Shruti, this is the Upanishad. In the last part of the first few syllables, it says, Manasa namanyute yana hurumano manam tadeva brahmatvam vidvi nedam yaddidam upasat. It's a very sweeping statement. It's saying that which even the mind cannot reach, but because of which the mind has its capacity to be aware. No, that alone is the supreme truth. Nedam yaddidam upasat. Nothing that you worship here, including our own egos. Having talked about such a philosophical concept, which is even so impossible to grasp by the ordinary mind, which only a purified mind can grasp, then it shifts suddenly to a story. Because in stories you can understand this properly. That Supreme Being, who is described as the Brahman, which is absolute, and which luckily is part of us too, decided to test the proud powers, the proud gods, who are the powers of nature. Indra is the lord of the senses. Agni is the lord of all that burns. Vayu is the wind that blows, all nature's powers, mighty powers of nature. So the Supreme Being, who is referred to in this Upanishad as the Yaksha, meaning a being which can't be defined. Yaksha appears and wants to test these guys. So there is a small little board meeting between Agni, Indra and Vayu. They say, who is this? What is that thing there, that Yaksha? So Agni says, I'll go first and figure out. Because fire, god of fire, who is praised in the Vedas always, Jata Vedas. So Agni goes close to the Yaksha and asks, who are you? Or what are you? The question is reversed, and that Yaksha asks the fire, who are you? So fire says, I am Jatavedas, I am Agni, the mighty Agni, I can burn up anything in this world. One little spark and the whole world can be destroyed. I am the god of fire, Agni, who is praised by the rishis and the Vedas. I am that. Okay, you can burn everything, yes. The Yaksha plucks a blade of grass and holds it in front of him and says, burn this. Agni tries all the tricks of his trade. Can't burn the blade of grass. He's very confused. He says, what the hell? He says, who is this guy? Who is this Yaksha? And he comes back. He says, let's set Vayu. He is the powerful cyclone which can uproot trees and destroy the world, even bring floods. So Vayu goes next. Same thing happens. Ask the question. He says, who are you? I am Vayu, the mighty, I can shake. Okay, says all right. The same blade of grass which could not be burnt, can you just blow this off? Vayu huffs and puffs and does all the tricks. No way to move the grass even a little bit. So he's completely confused. He thought he was all powerful. He comes back. He says, I don't know who this fellow is. What is this? So Indra says, I am the chief of the gods, the lord of the gods, lord of the senses. Senses means what? Sense organs. Let me go and find out. So he goes. When he goes, he can't see the Yaksha. The Yaksha has disappeared. Because that, the supreme reality, cannot be found through the sense organs. Not by the eye. Chakshusha na pachyati, shrotre na shrunoti, vacha na bhyutitam, cannot be described by words. So the Lord of the senses went to find and he couldn't find it because it is that which can't be seen, heard, touched, even thought about. He came back. Then they again had a board meeting. What the hell is this now? We need to figure this out. Because he has outdone all of us. And we don't know, no shape, no nothing. Indra says, I can't find him. But he's there. So then suddenly something concrete happens. The Bindu, which Bindu? The Bindu, in the form of Parvati, the daughter of the Himavan, the Himalayas, Bahushobhamanam, very beautiful, suddenly appears. And she says, fools, come here. Huffing, puffing, nothing is going to work. You have these powers, these energies, right? That is the source of all this energy. You think you are the source? That is the source. Without that you are nothing. So understand this. So Indra, Vayu and Agni understand this from Parvati. And they became greater gods. That is the story. So when we stop huffing, puffing, when we understand that the essence of all our energies, there is only one essence for that. Then there is no ego there because you know that you are nothing, you are nobody, you are zero. When that zero happens, then there is abundance. Everything becomes one. Then if I want to do something, I don't have to put my mind, all your minds work on it. Everybody is one. This is the unity of being which we need to understand. In many cases we need the help of Bindu to open up our minds to, because suddenly to go from the grossest to the subtlest is difficult. So we need to go from gross to subtle, from subtle to subtle, and finally it's ultimately, remember that at the end of the journey there is this all-pervading reality. And you are not different from it. You are the same. Is that a message of hope? You don't have to depend on anybody, including this fellow sitting here. This is the message I wanted to give. Now, in the evening, there is a compulsory question answer session. I can't go on talking. And please ask questions relevant to the subject. Okay? Well, you're also allowed to ask about Babaji, but I know how it is like. I myself am thrilled when I relive my life, but it's okay. But I'm free of Babaji also. But if you're curious, yeah, you should ask. Babaji told me, I'm training you not to become dependent on me. I'm training you to stand on your own feet. I can still hear the words ringing in my ears. So I want every one of you to stand on your own legs. Don't be dependent. If you want to depend on your inner self, which is a spark of the all-pervading Supreme Reality. क्या हुआ? होलोकी. Guru?
Still we require external guru. So why?
You don't. You don't. You can treat the Guru as somebody who is showing you something, showing you that you have to stand on your own feet and find your true essence. After that you can forget the Guru. Goli maro. Thank you. Not that you should disrespect, I mean that's not what I mean. But you know what.